Be sure to check out my Veve and Omi Investors group in the description down below. Together we build generational wealth and go over everything you need to be profitable in the Veve markets. Yo, what is going on, y'all? I'm Cavell Anderson, and we are back with another Veve and Ecomi video. And this one, we are going to be checking out this Disney executive. If you all remember, he's a former Disney executive, and he was only there for a little bit. So we was taking everything he said with a grain of salt anyway. But yeah, if you all saw on the channel, we did cover him before. He was talking about some crazy stuff. I just know he was saying stuff that was ridiculous. Talking about how licensing works and stuff like that. And he was basically speculating on things he had no idea about. So in this one, we're going to hear some more of him talking particularly about Disney and Veve, because this seems to be a topic. This is a topic that everybody is bringing up. Like Veve is making its way into the minds of a lot of important people or formerly important people. I mean, you know, it's like everybody. Disney is going to be, Veve is going to be a household name. I said Disney. Disney, of course, is a household name, but Veve is about to be up there while people sleep on it. And I also think that this might actually raise a little bit of give people a different perspective. I think this is going to give people a different perspective and a different outlook on Veve. Like, I think people often think that companies with money, it's just going to buy up everything. It just makes sense to buy up everything. I feel like this is kind of an opinion that I don't necessarily disagree with. I feel strongly about this opinion. So we're going to go over that. But be sure to drop that thumbs up, subscribe, turn on notifications so you stay updated. And let's actually jump into it. Let's hear what the Disney former exec has to say.
Oh my God, it's true. Well, we're actually moving, though, to a different set of our lovely fictional characters. Disney, of course, there's been a lot about Disney recently. I'm going to rattle off some of this. Bob Iger, former CEO of Disney, joined the Genie's board. I want to get your take on that. Of course, I think after the Yuga acquiring CryptoPunks thing happened, there were all these rumors about Disney acquisitions, Disney acquiring Veve, which I thought was interesting. And actually I was like, oh, that makes some sense. Then that seemed to die down. And then it was that Disney's buying Dapper, which has been like a big rumor that Disney's buying Dapper. Also kind of interesting and could make some sense. Disney owns ESPN, right?
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Yeah. So
happy to talk about that in a minute. Yeah.
Cool. And then you and I actually haven't talked about, they hired Mike White to like oversee the metaverse. Disney made this kind of massive like metaverse hire, NFT hire. Maybe we talk about that. And then of course they did drop more NFTs on Veve, Toy Story characters. They dropped their first Woody character on Veve. So just, you know, endless Disney news. Where do you want to start, John? You being former Disney.
Let's talk about Bob Iger first.
Love it.
So my take on Bob Iger joining the Genie's board is that it's great news for everyone working in Web3, particularly in the NFT areas of Web3. And the reason is that he just brings just a mountain of credibility and pedigree to the space. The way I thought about this is that Bob Iger is a rising tide that lifts all boats. He just brings immediate credibility to every project in this space, that this is a place to look. If someone with his background and having any option, he has the world in front of him. He could do anything he wants, and that to choose to spend his time here is really, I think, a key milestone of we've arrived.
See, what's interesting about this is I actually appreciate his take on this. I like this. And I mean, obviously this space is inevitable. Like, if you understand the space, if you've taken the time to do your research, everyone invested in this space should know this. You have some people in here who are here just to make a quick buck, but the majority of people understand that. No, I don't even know if the majority of people understand it. I think a lot of people may be here for a quick buck, to be honest. Obviously we're all here to make money, but it's like some of us who understand, I think the more patient among all of us realize that the world is going here regardless of what anybody thinks. So all the people who get upset at Veve and the project and stuff like that and want to get out this project and go into a different project and things like that, I mean, this is why you see some of us who not really worried about that. I don't care how many people leave, they're going to come back. Like, it's just really that simple. Like, this space is literally inevitable. So you can get mad, you can get in your feelings, it's not moving quick enough. Okay, come back when everything's more expensive 5 years later, bro. Like, I don't care when you come back. Like, you're gonna be one of the people I'm selling to. So I mean, it benefits me more if you leave right now. So yeah, I mean, it's just, I don't know. This space it's just so new. It's so much information that people don't have, and so many perspective people's. I think that with big people like this actually doing big plays in the NFT space, more people are going to start getting educated and start taking it serious and wonder why all these great minds in the world are all seeing this technology as the same thing, while all the not so well off people, I'm not going to say not so well off, but while the not top percentage people in the world as far as earnings and stuff like that, why they all see everything the same way and everybody else sees it differently. I mean, there's a top 1% for a reason. That like there just is. Like a lot of those people see everything the same way, while a lot of the other people see everything the same way. And this is why there's a disconnect with those who are capable of making that type of money and those who can't. It's just like you if you want to make that type of money, you have to understand how to think like that. Most people don't have the freedom to think. Like that's the biggest issue. If you're at the top 1%, you have the freedom to think. Most people don't have that freedom. That's a luxury. But anyway, this ain't just preaching nothing, but
and
That's-
just
that
for
really
people who don't know,
excites me.
Genies is like an avatar fashion company. Like it's a very much a metaverse company that's building out basically these custom avatars and fashion, and I think they work a lot with celebrities actually on their like metaverse character avatar. Yeah, I like that. Rising tide, or he's a tide that lifts all boats.
Exactly. The timing is a little bit awkward for the announcement because Bob Iger just did an interview with Kara Swisher on her podcast, and she asked him about Web3 or NFTs in particular, and he said he didn't know anything about them, and he didn't know what Disney was doing, but there might be some licensing happening. So it's a little awkward that just like a month later, all of a sudden he's an investor and on the board of a Web3 company. He did lean into that a little bit in his statement where he acknowledged he had a lot to learn and was excited to learn. The great thing that he'll bring for Genies is that he's going to open up a lot of doors. Now, I want to caution there real quick, and I'll get to that in point, but he'll open doors for them. He knows how to open up introductions to people in the industry, across many industries, in fact, so he can get them kind of meetings with the right people. Now, a lot of people were assuming all of a sudden that Disney's going to buy Genies, and that's not the way it works. Just because Bob Iger's involved doesn't mean that all of a sudden Disney will do a big deal with Genies or that they're going to be acquired by Disney. Any deals will have to have the merits. I saw this actually happen in real time when Michael Eisner left the company and Iger came in, and Eisner had projects that he was working on privately that would have Disney applications, and it was always, nope, the projects have to have their merits. And so Iger's very well aware that same rule will have to apply to him. But I do think he will open up doors for the Genies team, and it's good for everyone.
Yeah. Okay, Disney, speaking of Disney buying things like Genies, Disney buying Veve, Disney buying Dapper. What's your take?
Okay. My take on Veve is no, and for a couple of reasons. It's too early. Because just Mike White just started. We'll talk about Mike in a second. And so he hasn't put together the company strategy, the go-to-market plan. It would be a really awkward time to make an acquisition in the space before Mike has really done, and his team, set up his team and done their work. And it's not Disney's kind of way they don't operate to run into acquisitions. They take them in a very thoughtful, kind of long process. Now, long by Disney standards versus Web3 standards is something they're going to have to reconcile, but they don't rush into acquisitions. So I think it's too early for Veve. And the other thing with Veve is the value of Veve is their partnerships with all the studios, like particularly like DC Comics. And so if Disney were to come in and buy Veve, the first thing that will happen is DC Comics and their other kind of studio partners will pull their brands. And now you've just destroyed value in the Veve acquisition, which leaves it to just being a tech and team acquisition. So I don't see Veve being a buy in the near term, and I don't see it being a buy in the long term.
And this is actually similar to what David and Dan have already said. They have no interest in selling. They're not looking to sell. They don't even take the phone calls. It's their specific words. They literally said, we don't even take those phone calls to sell. Now, I know there is a lot of speculation around Disney buying, but I mean, what he says to me makes sense. Like it was always like that. It seems like losing these brands isn't like, it'll take away what makes Veve special, and I don't think that Disney would want to do that. I think the value in Veve, Disney knows that the value in Veve is much bigger than just Disney. Even though Disney has played a huge part in the success of Veve and why it's gotten to where it is today, the fact that they have these other brands is really what makes Veve have the potential to be a giant, a titan in this game right now. So yeah, I think that there's just like what Veve has to offer and brings to the table is their connection and relationships. And I think that David, you, Dan, Alfred Kahn, they all take this very, very seriously. I don't think that now would be a time for them to consider selling. And also, once you realize that they have spent their entire lives building something. They've built their reputation with licensing. They've built their collector stores and stuff like that. Like Alfred Khan has literally made shows like the greatest shows in human history. Like Alfred Khan, like all of them have spent everything that they have learned and everything that they have been building in their entire lives and put it all on the line and put it into Veve. Every single thing from all of their careers, they are putting into Veve. That sounds like passion. That doesn't sound like something that you're just trying to do, throw together real quick to make some money and then get out. That is a passion project. That's one of those projects that you never sell, that you never give up. That's something that that's truly like in the core of your heart. So yeah, I think that people just have the wrong perception of what Veve is and what it's going to become. They haven't even really started getting the vision to where it needs to be yet. Like Ready Player One was their words, and people don't realize that they have they're not even anywhere near that just yet. We don't have a metaverse. All we have is a gift shop. So to be talking about the future of Veve being bought and things like that, I mean, it's cool for content and just to talk about the possibility one day in the future. But the reality of the situation is we have a gift shop right now. If Veve can sell this gift shop for crazy amounts of money, imagine what's going to happen when they can actually have Veve be what it's supposed to be, and then they can get some money for it. I mean, this is one of those companies that could be worth crazy hundreds of billions of dollars, yo. So people got to stop sleeping on it. Don't sleep on Veve. Don't sleep on what it can become and the team behind it who understands what it can become. So yeah.
Unless Disney just wants to buy their tech or their team, and that's still too early for that. As to Dapper, I would say that it is too early for the same reasons, but I'll hesitate on that one just a little bit because this wouldn't really be a Disney acquisition, as I would see it as an ESPN acquisition, and Dapper does seem like it would be a good fit for ESPN.
So she asked one more Disney question. I mean Veve question. I'm gonna try to skip through to the Veve question. So yeah, let's see what happens with Veve.
Partnerships all over the marketplace might fit to make sense, but I don't see it in the short term. It just seems a bit weird to be that soon.
White, you said he's just joined. It's too early for him to have really put together a strategy yet. This was something that happened probably a month ago. I don't know how long it was ago. Now it's not an immediate piece of news, but again, you and I hadn't talked about it, and it's relevant sort of throughout all of this. So they've hired Mike White. Tell us about that and give us your thoughts.
To say that like they just hired somebody new and he hasn't had time to put together a strategy, I don't think that that's a compelling argument, because obviously I don't think that he knew that this Veve project was in the work years ago. Like as far as Disney working with Veve, he didn't know that this started years ago. Like he didn't know that in 2018 they were talking about what just literally came out last year. So they were ahead. Disney has been in talks with Veve for a long time. So this could have been part of the strategy and part of the plan from the beginning. If things go well, this is where we're heading. So I wouldn't just completely say, oh yeah, like this is a new guy here. They're not talking about buying Veve, because they really could be talking about buying Veve. This has been in the works for a long time. So yeah, this is an argument that I doubt I agree with.
Yeah. So there's a couple of key takeaways here. So Mike White he was an existing employee at the company. He joined a couple of years ago when Jimmy Pitaro came in. I called him as one of Jimmy's guys. So Jimmy Pitaro is now the head of ESPN. And when Jimmy joined the company to be head of Disney Interactive, all the digital businesses, he brought a bunch of his team with him from Yahoo, and Mike was one of them, I believe. So this is a couple things to take away here, though, that this was announced by Bob Chapek in an all-company memo, which is very unusual. The only time you ever get all-company only time you ever get all company memos from the CEO are usually around earnings announcements, when they have the quarterly statements, and then of course the happy holidays messages. I've never in my 10 years at Disney ever once saw an all company memo from the CEO.
He spent 10 years at Disney. I'm pretty sure, he might be, I don't know. I didn't look into this guy. I know somebody did a video. I thought he was there for a short while, or maybe it was even less so of him actually being at Disney, or him just working with Disney sometimes, like in a partnership capacity. So yeah, I forgot the exact relationship, but he just said he got 10 years at Disney. I'm gonna have to look into that one.
Saying we've hired a person to do this job. And the takeaway, and this was clearly intentionally done, was to communicate to every employee in the company that A, metaverse is on the CEO agenda, B, this guy, Mike, is the person in charge. There should be no questioning who's in charge here. And C, we're expecting everyone to participate and cooperate and come on board with this initiative. So I think that's a really important thing that Bob Chapek did in making the announcement. The second thing that was important to me in this is that Mike White is coming in as an SVP level position. And I felt when I had a list of things that Disney would need to do when they made this announcement, one of them was it had to be an SVP or higher level role. And the reason for that is it needs to be someone with enough authority and seniority to command attention in meetings, to be taken seriously by all the C-level execs, all the president-level execs, to know that this is a person with seniority and is going to have a voice in the meetings. And a more junior person just couldn't carry that. The third thing that was really important to me and was something I was concerned about was, would Disney look at the metaverse from the perspective of licensing, like their deal with Veve, which basically says, okay, we're going to let you use our characters and you give us, let's say, 10% of the revenue that comes from them.
All right, y'all. So we're going to end it here. I don't want this video to be too long. And then he's diving into another topic. It looks like he's actually going to dive into Veve a little bit more for a big substantial amount of time. So we're going to drop the rest in another video. So just so it's separate and it's not like just a super long video. So yeah, let me know what you all think in the comment section down below. Be sure to drop that thumbs up, subscribe, turn on notifications so you stay updated with everything going on. And yeah, I'm going to catch you all in the next one, man. Peace out, y'all.